All right, welcome back to the channel. Here is episode 2 of my Monster Hunter Lego series, and this is my Anjanath, and a little bit of something to say about Anjanath for me personally is that this was one of the first monsters I ever saw when I got into the series. And this monster is the biggest reason I fell in love with the Monster Hunter series. I just love the look and the idea and just the gameplay of this vulture fire-breathing T-Rex. And I have been in love with it since the first time I saw it. And it's the biggest reason because World was my first game, and this guy was my first real wall in the game. And yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and get this video out there because I just adore and love the Anjanath so much. Anyways, let's cut to the building. All right, we're gonna start with the head of this Anjanath. This is probably one of the proudest heads I've ever been proud of in my designing and building. It just kind of gets the feel of Anjanath down to a T for me. But anyways, to get to the building, here is your little hinge piece that's going to be important for the opening and closing of the jaw. You can do this black, dark gray, doesn't really matter. This is just what I had available. For the top jaw, you can see we have one of the mixel joints, one of the little clip-ons with a 1x2 tile. We have some yellow 1x1 rounds for the eyes, and these little cheese slopes, and a little bit of a darker pink for the crests. Here we have some of these more of these curves. You got this 2x2. And then we got a 2x2 tile, and we have some of these newer 2x1 curves that have been coming in a lot of newer sets, and you can use here, and that kind of makes that nose that the Anjanath has. And as you can see, very simple, we have another one of those 2x1 brackets, 2x1 with 3 teeth, and 2x1 flat tile. And then you can see on the tiles, very simple, 2x4 with a 2x3 on top. You put that together, that's the top jaw. And here that's where that hinge is gonna go for the bottom jaw. And here's the bottom jaw for the front teeth. You got that 2x1 with the teeth in the front, 3 teeth, and the 2x1 pink. Take that red off, it's just a 2x2 flat tile. And then we have more of these brackets, and here we have a 2x1 with 2x1 brackets, and then right here for the sides of the jaw, we have a 2x1 with 2x4 a 1x4 bracket on the sides, and that allows you to attach all the little details on the sides, being this little arrangement of a 2x1 darker pink with a slope, with a sloped 1x1 and a sloped 2x1 curve, and that just goes right there. And then this bottom assembly on the inside is just a 2x3 on top of a 2x4. And those all go together like this. And that is your Anjanath's jaw. And then the neck, very simple. Tile 2x2 tile, 1x2 mixel joint, and then this flat tile. And this could easily just be a completely flat tile, but that's what I had in pink. I don't have a ton of pink and purple. And here, 2x2 curved slope, and that mixel joint, and that makes up the neck. And then here we have the arms. Very simple. I'll go through this. We're doing tan for the fingers instead of that white for the teeth. And you can see right there, you got that mixel joint for the hand. These arms are really weird. There's definitely better ways to do this, but here you got that little elbow piece with a 1x1 stud and a pink little flower piece that could be a square or whatever, but that, again, I don't have much pink. So you could always make this significantly better constructed. But right here, you have the 1x2 with the clip on the end and a 1x2 with a ball joint on the end. Mixel joints, and you just do that for 2 arms. Our legs, oh, whoopsies. Our legs, very different kind of assembly. So we'll start with the foot. And you see right here, for each toe, it's a sideways black clip on top of a brown, but you could do that with, you could replace these with a tan piece if you wanted a color match, but I use this lighter brown on top of a black 1x1 with a sideways clip. And that's all the toes, the toenails. And then the foot, on the inside part, we have this, there we go. We have a 2x2 curve with a 2x1 attachment hinge right there. And then on the outside part of the foot, we have this, it's just like these curved slopes, but it has like texture and it goes out a little bit further. And it just adds more like depth and almost lifelikeness, I guess, to a build. And then here we have another one of those, I think they're called claw pieces in Lego. I'm not sure. But we have one of these kind of hinge pieces, and that's where that top toe is going to go on, which actually the top toe does have a different assembly. It's a 1x1 with a normal clip, and that's where that goes, and it goes just like right there. And of course you gotta build that out. You got a flat 1x2. You got this backwards upside down curve slope. And then right here, you can see the bracket assembly. I'm gonna take that off. I just use that there because nobody's gonna see the bottom of the foot when he's standing. And here is the brackets. It's a 1x2 going down and a 1x2 going up. And that just goes on the foot. Bam, bam, boom. And that's the foot for Anjanath. And now the leg. We have a curved tile on top of a 1x2 and one of these little brackets that's pointing down. So only a 1x2. And we have a 1x2 cheese slope. And that just goes on top. That's going to be on top of the leg. And then we have a lot of these like shield pieces that go down. And here we have some of our 2x2 bracket pieces that go down. And we have another texture piece that goes right on the side of there. And this, and then you get another one of these brackets. And you put that there. and this is gonna go on top of there. And then you have one of these with studs on the side, little brick. Boom. Here you got one of these little connection points for like a Technic connector. I forget what they're called, but you can find these in a lot of newer creator animal sets. You got a brick. You could have replaced this with a 1x3. And those just go under there, and this helps to and this little structure helps to kind of smooth it out. It's a 1x3 with a notch at the bottom, and it has a curve going down so that it can fit in the Technic joint right there. Here we have a 2x3 brick connected by a 2x3 tile and that G-slope up at the top. And then you have this mixel joint placed in there, which basically just makes a brick, just like on the neck assembly right here. Just there's 4 studs on top of here instead. And that all goes together with one of these 2x4s, a backwards 2x2 slope, if I can get it off. Yep. And this 2x2 kind of flat curve tile. And that all goes together, and you got your leg. You do that twice. Here's the tail. The middle segment, simple. It's one of these little wheel cover pieces, and you've got these 2 slopes. It's a 2x2 with a slope on the end. And then these side brackets, or here you have a ball joint connector with a 2x2 on top, and that goes on top of there. And then the bottom construction is these 2x2 with 4x4 brackets going up with more of these shield pieces, and they face towards and with the wheel cover. And you got a cheese slope, 2x2, 2x3 black, and a 2x3 in pink. And those just go all on top of each other. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then here, a bunch of these texture pieces. A ton of them, actually. And they can all come off with a 2x4. Or no, these are 1x4s, my bad. But here's a 2x4 with 4 of them on top, and then you have one of these 2x2s with only 2 studs, and then it's 2 flat, and then another texture fur piece, claw piece, I don't know. And you got 2 of them stacked up like a staircase. And then here's all the brackets. These are facing upwards. You got some brick assembly in there. Here you got a ball joint connector. And then you got a 2x4. And then here we got more of these 2x2s with 1x2s with a 1x4 bracket and a 1x3 flat tile. And here's the inside construction. This could just be a regular 1x2. Again, I just used a round one. And then here's a 2x6 pink with one of these upside down ones. And I suppose anything could kind of go inside of this assembly because most of it is covered up. Oh. Wait, how did that go? Oh yeah, right. Wait, am I missing? Oh, whoopsies. Yeah, the 2x2 that goes right below there, and then it connects right there. That's the tail. And here's the body. I'm not going to take this one apart as much, but I'm going to open up the inside so you can see how it's kind of constructed. So you can see how all the brackets go. Here we have 2 of these 1x4 pointing downward brackets. And then we have 2 of these 2x1 brackets pointing upwards. We have another one of these shield pieces, some of these curved slopes, kind of going down like a staircase. Cheese slope bracket going upwards. It's a 2x1. That goes there. More cheese slopes on top of that 2x4 right there. Kind of help with the texture. And then here we have another slope. This could be pink. I have it in dark pink. As you see, this little assembly, 2x3, and this could be a 2x4. Again, it could change if you're building this, but yeah. And then here we have a 2x4 flat, and you got that slope again, that 2x2 with that mixel joint. And then you got that 1x1. And that goes right here. And actually this structure is the same piece that was used right here, that brick. Has 1, 2, 3 of those. And you got 3 2x1 bricks with a 2x1 tile and a 2x2 slope. And then there's that 2x2 square with that 2x2 with a stud in the middle and a little circle. Here you got your mixel joint connector. This brick is a tile underneath, so there's a rod going all the way across, a tile going all the way across. These are pointing down, and this could easily just be a 2x4. And this is a 2x4 going up, and these are 2x2 going up, just like right here. And yeah, you can just fill this in how you need. This has to be about half a brick above this, and it's about a brick separate, half a tile separate right here. Whoopsies. There you go. Under here you got a 2x6, and just a little thing right there for detailing. And this assembly goes right there. This goes on the top. It is a 1x6 slope, and this texturing piece, fur piece. We got a little stud. It goes in there, right there. And this goes on both sides. So make sure you have one of the black ones that opens up on both sides. And this piece with a 2x1 and that curved, that flat goes right there. And then you want a 2x1 with studs, it goes there. This is gonna curve downwards. This one's gonna go there because this is kind of like feathers, I guess. And this is another shield piece attached to a 1x4 with a curve. Goes on the top, and it goes right there. And then these just attach as such, and you end up with your Anjanath. Boom. You gotta mess around with them.